Hello everybody, finalKenpachi here. Welcome to another Raid Shadow Legends video. In this video, we are gonna give Plarium a buff idea. There is lots of trash champion on this game. They need a buff ASAP. So I made some rules. We are gonna choose 3 affinity champion on the each faction and 1 void legendary champion, guys. Okay, we are gonna be ignore the daily login champion, Doom Tower reward champion, or the champion you can purchase their fragment, like Takdim Arena, Bazaar, clan shop, stuff like that. We are not going to be count them, guys, because if we are going to count them, the list is going to be full of them. We are only going to talk about the legendary champion. Let's start from the Bannerlord faction. In the Bannerlord faction, lots of the champion got buff recently. They are still not that enough, but we have to only choose 3 trash champion, guys. So my first choose, which is the got buff recently, Clean the Lucky. Clean the Lucky, if you got lucky, you can also feed him to empower the Ronda, which is not that bad thing. But you know, like, you need this champion more than that. Like, nobody want to get legendary champion to fit them in the future, right? So anyway, Linda Lucky buff was solid, but in the current meta on the arena, everybody with stone skin, it's not gonna be work. This skill over there not gonna be even happy on the faction war, guys, because on the faction war waves are not that hard on the Bannerlord. And the stage 21 on the boss, we look in their active skill. The minion is not gonna be happy because minions default skill, they are using their default skill, is hurting you. They have a high potential of the one shot you. Yes, this ability is a stun, but without book it's a 5-turn cooldown. 5-turn cooldown is not gonna be happy, and I don't recommend it buff the book the clean just for the faction war. Definitely need another buff. Sigmund is definitely very solid for the Hydra now, so I'm gonna be ignore him. Another champion, Minaya, guys. Like Minaya, corner Minaya meta is very easy to counter, and nobody using that on these days almost. So Minaya, one of the worst legendary in this faction. Her skills are not good. Is definitely need a rework or the buff, guys. Okay, and another champion is Septimus. I mean, basically, guys, there is 0% Septimus has usage. Basically, use the Husk, Royal Guard, or even the Cold Art. This Cold Art better on the Fire Knight because A1 attack 4 times. Even the normal Fire Knight, and same for the Art Fire Knight. So Septimus definitely deserve a buff, guys. Solid buff. Okay, they was the affinity champion and the Void legendary. Like, we have lots of the great void legendary, right, guys? Like Baron Taras Maricha, Baron got a buff recently. Only choose wave is the Raglin. She's not bad, but she doesn't deserve void legendary title. It would be great if they buff the Raglin and make the people happy. She's void legendary, always deserve solid buff. Alright, Bannerlord is done. Let's move to the high elf without wasting the time. Fix Niall got a buff recently, guys. Her abilities are not that bad. The problem about her book, man, like, look at the amount of the book she needed, guys. Even the passive skill need a book. So either reduce her buff amount, or either give her one more buff. Fix Niall, my first choose. Another freezer coming from Shinimari. Shinimari, I think they buffed the Shinimari. I think they did, but she still need a buff, like 4-turn cooldown after the book. And like heal, like she's placing freeze than healing you. Like, why? Like, you control the enemy, go attack them, you know, like, why you waiting, you know, like stuff like that doesn't make sense. Her skill set doesn't make synergy on between them, you know. And A1 attack 3 times at random, looking solid on the Fire Knight, but the chance of the placing freeze is super low. You cannot count on this one, and she definitely deserve a buff. Another champion is the Alexander. Alexander can hit hard actually, but especially if we are looking the high elf, there is a Royal Huntsman, ignore 100% defense. There are the Roanas, ignore 50% defense, ignore more stuff, and the attack 3 times. So there is definitely better sharpshooter than him on this faction. If like this is not only for against the Orc or the Ogre tribe, like if you place and weaken all of the enemies from that skill, would be very nice actually. 3-turn cooldown, decrease defense at the beacon at the same time. That will be very cool. So he need little bit buff, guys. Let me know if you guys have any other idea on this faction or the previous faction or the future faction. And my Void Legendary. Belonar got a buff recently. I actually don't have him personally, but I think he's definitely better than Ethos, right guys? Ethos is definitely need a buff. He's more than Nightmare campaign farming, in my opinion. He's a Void Legendary champion. Let's move to the next one, Secret Order. Secret Order Astrolon, guys. I like this champion for the looks. He definitely deserves better than that. This is ignoring strength, elite protection, etc, 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 but multiplier is not that good. It's not ignoring your defense, which is lots of the champion can do that, especially the new champion on the game. And this skill not even the return cooldown. There's a lot of champion can do it on the return, like Ragash for example, right? Gofret in the dwarf faction. So I feel like Astrolon deserve a buff on this faction. Another one is the Hold String. But I don't even know what is Hold String doing, but he definitely deserve a buff, guys, okay? And another champion is the Gilsha. Gilsha looking freaking awesome, but she's has to be designed to counter the Warlord, but it's not really countering the Warlord. It's really anti-counter attack to Gilsha, so she definitely deserve a buff, guys, in my opinion. And the Void Legendary in this faction, I wanna choose Sir Nicholas, definitely need the buff, guys, but my first priority is Supreme Etal. She's definitely biggest trash Void Legendary. One of the biggest trash Void Legendary in this game. Yes, she don't need a book. She can be your free champion for the Spider 25, normal Spider. But that's all about it. Yakar can also do that, for example. Okay, Supreme Etal definitely deserve a buff. She's don't deserve Supreme or the Void title at all. Alright, let's move to the next faction, Barbarian. In the Barbarian, guys, first champion is Rorik. Rorik, kinda new champion, but he's really fresh champion, guys. Like, his skill doesn't make sense, not gonna be help you in the anywhere. Rorik definitely need a buff. Another one is next to him, again, kinda new champion. Provoke with the block damage, so he can be mischief targeting on the Hydra, but there is a better provoke champion than him, guys. Like, you guys don't want him. And this skill casting increased resist buff and reflect damage 4 turn cooldown. Okay, so Rough Matap definitely deserve a buff. And another champion from that list is the Oparden. Oparden is the solid healer. Can help you on the progress on the game. Definitely not that trash, but compared to the rest of the champion, my choose will be Oparden, like Altan for example. He also need a buff, right? But if you have an Altan on the early game, he's A1, one of the highest chance of placing decrease attack, A2, placing increased defense buff, you know. So it can be very solid on the early game Columbus progression. Stuff like that. So my choose gonna be Oparden from this list. And the Void Lego. Void Lego, this is the hard one. We are gonna ignore the Yakar because we can purchase him. So my choose gonna be Turvold. I know Turvold is a very solid champion, but this is Void Legendary champion. Especially if you want to use him in the arena, you need another Void Legendary champion, is the Negret. He can really, he's actually really nice DPS, especially with the Negret on the arena. You guys can also use him on the Lambos. But again, we have to choose one champion, guys, and between the Tuan and Ursuga, Turvold has a little bit more niche usage, you know, and my choose in from this list on the Turvold. So we finished the first Hilarion League. Let me know what you guys' opinion. While you guys thinking about it, I'm gonna move to the next 4 faction, Ogre Tribe. Ogre Tribe, Ignatius, guys, one of the oldest champion in this game. He cannot be resisted HP burn, but 5 turn cooldown after you book, by the way. It's a 6 turn in the default. This skill also have a 4 turn cooldown. His cooldown is super high. His multiplier is pretty good actually, not gonna lie. Especially if you have a Sifi, consider to use him in the arena. This HP burn has advanced now because cannot be resisted. You guys can build him in the high resistance instead of the accuracy, so it can be reduce his chance of getting shipped. So not bad, especially on the current meta, but definitely deserve a buff, guys. Okay, on the next one, Group Tuk, guys. Group Tuk is a usage on the Hydra if you guys have a Trunda team. And the Hellhades love to made a damage, maximum damage video with him. Besides that, he has no usage. I personally think he deserves a buff. Drago. I think Drago is the only champion casting increased attack and the increased defense. No, Mithril also doing that, right? True, Mithril also doing that. The 3-turn cooldown is not that bad. This skill is a 4-turn cooldown, shield. So Dragul got a buff recently, if I'm not mistaken, but he still need a buff. And the Void Legendary, very simple answer. Gurgo deserve a buff, guys. Okay, give me just 1 second. Let me drink a water. Gurgo definitely deserve a buff. Let's move to the next faction. Is the Lizardman Roxam, guys. Roxam not even good for the faction war. Like trash, extra trash. Roxam definitely need a buff. And the next one of the oldest champion in the game. Actually, Ryzen is the fusion, right? He's actually fusion. Okay, let's ignore the Ryzen. Let's go to Vergumkar. Vergumkar got a buff recently, but I believe he still needs more work. And if we have to choose another champion now, it's gonna be tough actually. Fusan, let's go Fusan now. Fusan is the one of the oldest nuker in the game. His A2 attack twice, very low chance of the place and stun. He can actually hit hard, but about the current meta, he's not fitting well. One more buff on the Fusan if you are not gonna count the Ryzen, that will be solid. And the Void Lego, very simple trigger, guys. It cannot be believable this dude is the Void Legendary. Come on, Polar. Show some love. Okay, Skinwalker. In the Skinwalker, what I choose? Hakorn. Hakorn got a buff recently, guys. But 4-turn cooldown. And another 4-turn cooldown after rebook is not good. Like, we don't like 4-turn cooldown on the legendary champion unless the skill is very OP, right? So Hakorn still deserve a buff. And from the next one of the oldest DPS champion. He was the fusion back in that day on the Halo 1, I think. Bracus definitely deserves some love, guys. He's not fitting on the current meta. It will be nice to see Bracus action more in the arena, you know, because he's a unique champion looking pretty badass, but not that good, deserve a buff. And another champion is the War Chief. The War Chief can be solid on the Magma Dragon, can be solid on the Hydra, right, as a provoker. But like if you're thinking like Skull Lord, like Maoli, even the like Bivalt, stuff like that, we have a better provoke champion. Obviously, like if you guys don't have this champion, there is nothing wrong to use the War Chief when your Hydra is a provoker. But you need more than that. Like he have like some reflect damage. I actually don't know how much reflection he's making on the Hydra. If his reflect damage is solid, definitely not bad champion then, my bad, because I don't have him and I never see anybody using him in the Hydra. Let me know, guys, is reflect damage actually worth it on the Hydra? And the Void Lego, my choose is the Corner. Corner, speaking of the talent, is also not bad provoke champion. He will decrease defense and attack as well. His decrease attack is landing after the decrease defense is landing. So if you land the decrease defense debuff on the target, then you are going to place a decrease attack. So if you have an Ogo, for example, at the same team, this skill also going to place a decrease attack. Provoke decrease attack, not that bad. Weak thing about him himself, he also custom 2 buff at the same time on himself, guys, so he can be mischief targeting. His A1 is the attack enemy, so because of that he can charge the Vrat, head of the Vrat, pretty quickly. That's the bad thing about him, but still not bad champion, but definitely not Void Legendary, guys. He definitely need a buff. Next faction is the Orc. In the Orc faction, guys, let me check my list. That Orc faction, one of the best looking faction, right? They are DPS champion. Look at that. Look at that beautiful trash, you know? This is the orc faction. Danang, need a buff. Inkorak, need a buff. Multiplier super low. And another champion from that list, Grohak, guys. Grohak actually got a buff recently. He's not looking that bad, but I think he still need a little bit more unique ability, right? There is almost every single arena champion we are using right now has unique ability. It doesn't have anything like attack all enemy, each critical hit fill the champion tormented by 20%. So what? So what? It's not 100%. I mean, it's not. He's not gonna get extra turn or anything, you know. So, and Void Legendary, we have a little bit easy on this time. Angar. Angar, again, one of the provoke champion. He's also a passive skill, so if the enemy under provoke attack him, he's counter attack them back, and the chance of the landing another provoke from the A1 skill. But Angar, I don't know what you guys thinking, but Angar is one of the worst Void Legendary in the game, and definitely need a buff, guys. Okay, let's move to we finished the Gale Impact. Let's move to the Corrupted. Yusuan Demon Spawn. Demon Spawn is one of the best faction in the game. So I have to choose 3 affinity champion. I don't have option, guys. Tyrant. I mean, we have a lot of HP burn champion on these days. And especially they give us one free Artak. He's placing HP burn and he's activate the HP burn. Tyrant compared to the Artak has no usage at all. 100% chance of place an HP burn, and he's have a early protection and increased defense buff, their turn cooldown. Very solid buff, but for his skill set, doesn't make sense that much, you know? So, he definitely deserve a buff. Timer, brother, need a buff, guys, okay? Next one, Countess Leaks, is very bad champion, guys. Decrease speed for turn cooldown. And the block active skill debuff for 2 turns, so A2 can be solid on the Hydra, but 4 turn cooldown, no. She's also attack type champion, low HP, low defense, no. Her A3 doesn't make sense on the Hydra, so another no, which is 5 turn cooldown. Can be good with the Astrolon on your arena, early game arena. They are passive skill working together, they can get cut in. You can make a cut in team in the arena, can be annoying, but beside that, she's looking very good, but she definitely deserves a buff, guys. Okay, another one. That was a tough one. I will choose the Lord Sazar. Lord Sazar has the highest speed aura in the arena, by the way, if you guys doesn't know. Usually champion have a 30%, he have a 32%. He also casts an increased attack buff on himself, get an extra turn, which is very cool. But his multiplier damage is not that good. You guys can use him on the live arena, it's not that bad. Demon Spawn is the best faction in the game. It's really hard to choose the worst champion there. I choose the Lord Sazar. Maybe you guys have a different opinion. Let me know on the comment section your opinion. So Cortexa and the Initiative, both of them is not that great, guys. But Cortexa is definitely more usage than the Initiative, especially on the live arena. Initiative multiplier is definitely bad. He's looking freaking awesome, but Initiative deserve a buff, guys. Next faction is the Undead. In the Undead, we have a lot of the Lego. It's really hard to choose 3. But from my list, Elegois got a buff recently, guys. But he still need another buff. I really don't like this dude abilities. And I don't think he deserves a 6-star and the book. Blood Guarded. They buffed him recently, by the way. His base speed was 92 or something like that. They just increased like 98. And his skill still need a buff, guys. Like this skill ignore the defense, but 4 turn cooldown. Maybe 4 turn cooldown makes sense, but his multiplier is not that good. And it's only ignore the defense, so if the enemies under like stone skin, shield, bolster, ally protection, strength, increased defense actually doesn't gonna make sense. But they are gonna still protect your target. It's not ignoring anything else. And this skill he's like budget basher, but because it's an attack skill, gonna be weak against the spirit affinity, which is you need the accuracy for this skill. Are you gonna build him high accuracy or are you gonna build him DPS? So Blood Guarded need a buff. And the last champion, guys, like I go between the Suzerain Khatoon, Harvest Check, Netril, you know, This natural has some poison, can be useful on the combos and the stun as well. Üzerine also a speed down and the defense down on the Hydra, you know. Even the cooldown is high. But I will go Harvest Check, guys. Harvest Check has one of the highest HP, base HP in the game. But that's about it. Harvest Check, one of the oldest champion in the game. He definitely deserves another buff, guys. True Fear is like most stupid debuff in the game, on my personal opinion. It's very RNG, guys. Okay, so Harvest Check from my third legendary. And Void Lego, I actually see some Valkyrie action, guys. If he not getting a ship from his True Fear, he can be actually hit quite well. But the one is not hitting quite well is the Little Miss Annie. It's really easy to kill her, and yeah, Little Miss Annie definitely Void Legendary need a buff, guys. Not bad, very niche usage, definitely deserve a buff. Let's move to the next one, the Dark Elf. On the Dark Elf, Marinix, one of the fusion champion. I actually skipped that fusion, but I managed to pull her sadly. She will defense down and the hex debuff at the same time, but basically nothing else. So basically, guys, give Ogo curse set, there you go, Marinix. And at the same time, you are gonna get a block buff. The heal as well, cleans. So Marinix definitely deserve a buff. Another one, her partner, kind of partner, because another Hex champion, another Trash Hex champion, I would like to say, Rule. He was also the fusion, guys. Rule also need a buff. Just give me 1 second. And another champion, Ultan, the one of the newest champion from this faction. Ultan, none of the Ultan skill makes sense. He has sleep, but so what? Like, what you are gonna do with the sleep if the enemy team? Like, he's not like Kaimar. Kaimar has a sleep at the same time sleep. So Kaimar has a chance of to remove the stone skin and the place is sleep on them. He's not. He just sleep. So if the enemy team has a block debuff or the stone skin, it's not even gonna be work, you know. So Ultan definitely need a buff. And the Void Lego, guys, I believe Supreme K actually not that bad champion, guys. It doesn't need a accuracy because of the passive skill. So you can build him like high resistance. He can be solo, almost everything, you know. Tramaria is solid for the Hydra actually. Also can be nice control champion, but 4 turn cooldown. Definitely deserve a buff. But this is the Balancer. One of the oldest Void Lego in the game. Has an insane base speed. But her skill kits doesn't make sense here, but very high base speed, right? She's casting like block debuff and the shield buff. So you are very fast, and she's casting 2 defensive buff. So you are starting the game, then she's casting 2 defensive buff. Doesn't make sense and very bad skill in my opinion. Which is shield is equal to this champion HP and her HP is trash. And you cannot even use the Balancer in the Hydra, guys, because attack 3 times at random. She's pretty much always target the fear head and she's getting true fear because of that. Balancer need nice buff, guys. Okay, Balancer deserve a buff. Let's move to the next one, Night Revenant, Narma. Narma, biggest problem about Narma, guys, she's needed too many book, guys, like insane amount of the book. And just because of that, either reduce her buff amount, like nobody using her, even the Columbus, guys, because nobody want to book this lady. She don't deserve that much book. So Narma deserve a buff. Bisophitus, I believe his base attack is the highest in the game, but his skills are not that good. I think he got a buff recently, maybe I'm mistaken, but this skill is the almost same skill that Vlad have, by the way. It is not bad skill, but Vlad can do it 3 turn cooldown. I know Vlad is the Void Legendary. But yeah, he have a 2 AoE attack actually, not that terrible. But in my opinion, Bisophitus need another buff considering his Force Affinity gonna be weak against the Duchess. Need more unique stuff on him. And another champion is the Versov, guys. Versov is not bad protection actually, 3 turn cooldown, increased defense at the same time early protection. It's like a Tyrant A3 skill. But that's pretty much all about it. Can actually hit hard, but his skill is conditioned. So if you manage to place CC debuff on the target, which is you cannot do that against the boss, Gonna place an extra attack. Instead of him, if you guys want HP nuker, if you want to attack them twice, just use the Magnar, is the epic champion. And the Void Legendary, I go between the Wurlim and the Fortus, but Wurlim has some best 2, oh my bad, I thought he have a elite protection. Okay, strength and increased defense. And alright guys, like I cannot decide actually. I want to say Fortus because Fortus damage is terrible. His like secret skill is terrible. His everything is terrible. I leave you guys that. You guys choose the between Wurlim and the Fortus. I like to choose the Fortus over the Wurlim. Alright, we almost done. And the next champion guys, next faction, Dwarves. From the Dwarves guys, first champion, Barogar. Barogar is the one of the increased resistance buffer in the game, 4 turn cooldown. Increased resist buff are totally useless guys in the arena because your enemy team is not gonna wait your increased resist champion got a turn. Resist teams are go second team and they are not that fast. So they need some rework there. I'm thinking like if you give like Barogar like Hegemon passive skill, you know, start the game first, that will be make him sick actually. But his base speed also very low guys, so Barogar definitely deserve a buff. Another one is kinda similar, Nari. Nari definitely better than Barogar. He have a decreased accuracy at the same time decreased resistance. You guys struggle in reaching like high resist at the same time high accuracy. Nari can help you, but compared to the rest of the champion in this faction, I think Nari deserve a buff. Another one is the Samar guys. Samar, I think, like especially like last year, before the Lady Annabelle is released, which is the epic champion against the Bombalda Dreton, I think the only usage on the Samar people was building him to solo Bombalda Dreton. But we have an easier alternative now, and she can do it way easier, low stat recruitment than him. And Lady Annabelle can solo the Bombal with no problem. So my last champion from this faction, definitely Samar guys. And the Void Legendary, we have to choose one. Akrize is the god tier for the Hydra guys. I will choose the Torment. He definitely doesn't need a buff. He's getting a little bit old, easy to counter. This is solid on the live arena, but we have to choose. That's why I choose the Torment. Shadowkin. In the Shadowkin, my first choose, which is the god buff. Nobel. Need to be better than Ninja Foot guys. Okay, Nobel is looking actually pretty sick. I love his design. But he deserves another buff guys. And the next one, next to Nobel, one of the newest champion. She was on the live action series. I mean not live action, live Arbiter series, limited Arbiter series on the YouTube for the Raid Shadow Legends. This is the first time we meet her, but I think she deserves another buff. Her skills not that looking cool and doesn't make sense at all. Multiplier also very low. And the last champion, Gamuran. Gamuran is unique champion but very niche usage guys. I think he need like little bit buff would be make him better. That's my opinion. And the Void Lego is the Jingwon guys. Jingwon got a buff recently, sadly, but he still need a buff. Jingwon has a usage in the Heart Dragon 10, but he have an alternative Lysandra or the Roark or Staltus, you know, like he have an alternative. If you don't have any one of this champion like me, you can use him on the Dragon Heart 10, which is I have a video on my YouTube channel. You guys can check this out, 50 seconds. You don't even need to book him, even for the arena. Like sometimes I use him on the arena as well, guys, against the Tormentor booster and the Kaimar team. But usually people have a Tormentor boost, has either Warlord Yumeko or the Romanto. So against them, he's not going to be useful. But if you manage to find a Kaimar alone, you can counter the enemy team with the Jingwon super easy. You don't need a Masteries. You don't need a book on him to do that. Jingwon need another buff. The last faction guys, Sylvian Watcher. Sylvian Watcher, actually they did a good job on this faction, but there is still a champion need a buff. King, Galabar. Not terrible champion. Definitely you can use him in the Hydra. Even the Ogre is better. He have a cleanse, he have a block buff. Not terrible, but we have to choose 3 champion guys. So first one is the King Galabar. Second one, is the Roark, guys. Roark, like I mentioned earlier, like a Jingwon, can be sorted on the Heart Dragon 10 to save a talent. You guys can also use him on the Phantom Shogun dungeon. Not terrible, definitely better than King Galabar, but we have to choose. Lady of Irot, guys. Lady of Irot, not that good, and she definitely deserve a buff in my opinion. And as a Void Lego, I will like to go ILL over the Claudia. Claudia has some usage in the Hydra, guys. ILL multiplier is not that good. He's looking like sick, looks like a king. He looks more king than the King Galabar, to be honest. But ILL as a Void Legendary need more love. So that was my list. Hopefully you guys like it. If you guys have a different opinion, please share it below to the video comment. And I'll see you guys on the next time. If you guys love the video, please like the video and sub my YouTube channel. Appreciate it. Take care everybody. Have a nice day. Bye bye.